Good afternoon and welcome to NYFP. I'm standing here on Wall Street right in front of the Cinnamon Snail truck. Now the Cinnamon Snail is the first organic vegan food truck here in the U.S. and I'm joined by the owner as well as the chef, Adam Sobel. Good afternoon. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Yeah, great to be with you.
Well, you're renowned for your vegan organic products, and you did win the Vendy Award last year. I understand that you have a new summer menu that just launched today, so could you tell me about some of the products?
So we really like to change our menu to incorporate as much fresh seasonal stuff as possible. So we just changed our menu as the tail end of cranberries and things like this that we really love in the winter are no longer available. And now we've got some really nice pancakes made with fresh plums involved. We do a seitan al pastor, which is a sandwich with grilled pineapple and beer-battered jalapenos and the spicy kind of simmered seitan and greens. And we also just introduced a whole bunch of gluten-free options. We got a really nice gluten-free bread, and now a lot more of our truck is kind of gluten-free friendly.
And Adam, as a vegan myself, I really love your desserts, including the donuts as well as the cinnamon snail bun to begin with. But I think it's great that you're also offering a gluten-free bread for your customers out there. Could you tell me about the new donuts that you have in your summer lineup, as well as the iced coffee?
Sure. So we're doing a fresh blueberry hibiscus glazed donut. We're using local fresh blueberries, which are just popping now in New Jersey. And we're doing a coffee ice cream sundae donut, which features a chocolate donut with coffee glaze and smashed ice cream cones and espresso beans. We're doing a Meyer lemon twist with fresh Meyer lemons that are pureed in the glaze. It's like a really nice kind of sweet, tart, lemony flavor.
Well, it sounds as though your desserts as well as iced coffees are really mouth-watering, so it makes you want to skip right to dessert instead of going to the sandwiches. It must be really great to run a food truck business, but I'm sure there's so many challenges, especially in New York City. So could you tell me some of the challenges you're facing?
Yeah, it's really a labor of love to continue doing this. There's a reason why a lot of food trucks don't stay open in New York City, and it's kind of a regulatory nightmare we're put through as far as how difficult it is to obtain permits and licenses. Basically, for food trucks, anybody who works on the truck, even if they're just handling cash, has to get a license that takes several months to obtain. And then the truck itself has to have a permit. And the permit itself can take years to find. You can't get them through the city anymore. And there's kind of this ugly, thriving black market for permits. And it's a very difficult thing because it forces all the street vendors, like not just food trucks, but carts on the street, to be engaged in this black market where we're paying over 100 times the actual value of this permit to obtain one. And it's a real problem for street vendors. It's something we're actively involved in an organization called the Street Vendor Project, which is part of the Urban Justice Center. Pretty close to here on Williams Street, actually, in the financial district. And we fight for, our rights as vendors on the street, fighting, the really high, like $1,000 fines we get for minor infractions of the law, and, to try to change the way food vendors are regulated so that we can be able to go right to the city and get the licenses and permits we need.
And Adam, now that we've covered that, I do want to ask you about the ingredients and sourcing for your food. Could you tell me where you source your food?
Well, we go through a few different distributors for a lot of the kind of bulk organic produce we get. But now that the summer's here and a lot of our local farmers are showing up at the market with fresh stuff, increasingly as our local New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania farmers have usable greens and arugula and things, tomatoes, peppers, things we use a lot in our menu. We try to get as much of that locally as we can from organic farmers we know.
And speaking of location, I do want to get the location of your food truck throughout the week. So if you could just give us a broad overview of where you're parked throughout the week.
By and large, our schedule stays the same week to week, but there's always some kind of unexpected emergencies or what have you that makes us change it up. So a lot of people follow us on Twitter at Vegan Lunch Truck or on Facebook. But our schedule is more or less that on Mondays we're on 48th and 6th. On Tuesdays we're on Wall and Water in the financial district. On Wednesdays we're on 55th and Broadway. Thursdays we're on 21st and 5th, and then we do dinner on in Jersey City at the Grove Street Farmers Market. Then on Fridays we're on 47th and Park, and Saturdays are kind of like an up-in-the-air events day. We usually do events on that day, or we're at nearby to Union Square. And then on Sundays we actually operate in the town I live in now, which is Red Bank, New Jersey.
Okay, Adam. Well, thank you so much for giving us a broad overview of your business, and good luck with the launch. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks a lot.